The Gloriana set by ThebeMoon. Chapter 64. Aurors again.
I don't see why we need to interfere, Draco complained. Theo can take care of himself. I won't leave him to the Aurors, Draco.
Hermione was tying her Gryffindor tie in front of Draco's huge mirror as Emmy plaited her hair. Draco had snuck her into a nearby bathroom so she could clean up for the day, then disappeared himself as the elf transfigured a uniform for Hermione and dried her curl. Then Emmy fell on Draco at his return, fitting him out in flawlessly pressed uniform and fastening his cufflinks. The elf looked thrilled. Hermione could tell Draco rarely allowed her to help dress him.
Fine,
he snapped, giving his own tie a final tug.
Thank you, Amy.
Emmy beamed.
C'est un plaisir, servir maître et maîtresse.
She disappeared with a crack.
You have an extra robe, Hermione asked Draco, and I need a bag.
Draco pulled 2 black robes out of his trunk.
Do you mind explaining? No time, those Aurors could break in any minute. We've already taken too long.
Hermione shrunk down one of his robes and pulled it on. She grabbed his leather bag.
Let's go.
Draco tucked his wand and signet ring into his pocket.
Don't boss me like I'm the weasel,
he snapped, following her. Hermione ignored this and knocked on Theo's door.
Theo,
she called as Draco glared. They stepped out, with Theo behind him. Both wizards wore silk dressing gowns of green brocade open at the neck, revealing copious amounts of dark chest hair.
Hermione, thanks Salazar,
Blaise said.
Theo, Blaise,
Draco said icily.
If you two could possibly put on some clothes.
Ignore him, Hermione told them.
Why are Aurors trying to arrest you, Theo?
Theo was frowning, his dark eyebrows drawn, making him look like a satanic Harry with a sybaritic touch.
I don't know, he said. I thought they cleared me after the hunting shack. Who told you the Aurors were here?
Draco asked.
The snake charmer snake, they said. The cobra came into the portrait in our room.
Hermione nodded, remembering that Theo spoke puzzle tongue. She bit her lip, looking Theo up and down. Draco stiffened beside her.
Get dressed, she told Theo. Wear your uniform, robe and all, and get your school back. Shouldn't he wear robes? Blaise asked. He's a wizard of wealth and
No, she said.
Theo is a student here under McGonagall's protection. Blaise, you get dressed as well, and both of you stay down here in your room. Ward the doors as strongly as you can. Draco and I will go upstairs. I won't hide.
Theo strode towards Hermione, colliding with Draco, who had stepped in front of her.
Stop it,
Hermione said, glaring at Draco. She stepped around him and looked up at Theo.
Those Aurors have no right to storm a Hogwarts dormitory and snatch up students. We're not going to make it easy for them. Draco, let's go.
Theo hesitated while Blaise leaned against the door. Dangerously seductive in that half-open dressing gown.
Dominating,
they said with a smirk for Hermione.
I can see why you like that, Draco. I'm not above hexing you right here,
Draco told him. Hermione simply walked off, not looking to see if any of the men behind her were following instructions. She could hear Blaise's carrying voice.
Tell me, boy, is she like that in bed too, or did she?
Draco's hand grasped Hermione's, stopping her before she reached the doors.
You and Theo?
Hermione huffed.
We don't have time for this.
Draco just looked at her coldly.
No, I never checked Theo, not even close. Now, can we please go upstairs and try to keep him out of Azkaban?
Draco didn't answer, but he did release her hand. They climbed the 2 flights of stairs and opened a set of carved doors, then climbed the stairs to the Slytherin common room. They entered the room just seconds before 2 Aurors burst through the portrait hall. The snake charmer portrait swung inward as well, now hanging crookedly. Hermione felt a stab of rage. If the Aurors had damaged that portrait...
Who are you to trespass on Slytherin house?
Draco asked, striding forward, every inch the outraged nobleman. The 2 Aurors were strangers to Hermione. One tall and lean with long grey hair and a goatee, the other dark-haired and muscled. They wore identical expressions of hate and contempt when they looked at Draco, their ones raised.
It's a Death Eater,
the dark-haired Auror said.
You should all be in Azkaban,
the other snapped.
We'll soon clear out this little pit of vipers. You have no right to be here,
Hermione said coolly, stepping up beside Draco.
The only Auror authorized to enter these dungeons is Harry Potter. And what are you doing here, little Gryffindor?
The muscled, dark-haired Auror snickered as he eyed her red and gold tie.
Bedding down with the snakes.
Draco stepped forward, and Hermione grabbed his arm.
Stop it,
she hissed, her voice pitched so only he could hear.
If you don't want me to treat you like Ron, don't act like him.
The grey-haired Auror whispered into his partner's ear, and the younger wizard's eyes widened.
Hermione Granger?
He repeated hoarsely.
Miss Granger, the older Auror said to Hermione. I'm Auror Drabin, and this is my partner Croft. We have an arrest warrant for Theodore Ignatius Nott, and we intend to carry it out.
Hermione held out her hand for the warrant, and Drabin handed it over. She scanned it quickly while Draco traded glares with the younger Auror.
You're charging Theo with writing the Die Mudblood messages, she said in amazement. On what evidence? We are not at liberty to say,
Drabin said, stroking his goatee.
Suffice it to... It doesn't matter, Hermione said. You cannot arrest students without the headmistress' approval. Does she know you're here? Does Harry know? We don't have to answer questions,
Croft growled, flexing his muscled arm.
Step aside. I don't want to hurt you, girlie. Croft!
Drabin cried. He sounded horrified, but Hermione watched him closely. The older Auror could be stoning.
You really think you can have the brightest witch of her age?
Draco drawled, sounding bored, but his hand was in his robe pocket. Hermione stepped closer to him.
Draco,
she whispered,
is there another entrance to the southern dungeons? The water gate through the lake.
He whispered back.
Check on it, she said. What?
He hissed.
Leave you here? No. You have to,
she hissed back. Draco nodded reluctantly, and Hermione sighed in relief. You don't have to spell things out with Slytherins. With a final haughty glare at the Aurors, Draco spun on his heels and stalked down the stairs, his black robe billowing behind him. The Aurors moved to follow, but Hermione drew out her wand and stepped before them.
I'm sorry, sirs, but you have no right to go down there. You don't belong here either, Miss Granger,
Drabin said. Croft flexed his muscles again, and Hermione rolled her eyes.
I am an invited guest, she said calmly. Draco was just getting some potion notes for me. I doubt Hermione Granger needs anyone's potions and notes, Drabin said. And it is a crime against the ministry to draw a wand on an Auror. Go get a warrant, Hermione said. Then you can sneak up to Gryffindor Tower at 6:30 in the morning and try to arrest me. This is ridiculous,
Croft snapped, striding forward.
See here, sweetheart.
Hermione muttered under her breath, and the Auror slipped on the suddenly wet floor and fell heavily on the stone.
How dare you attack an Auror?
Drabin snarled.
I didn't attack anyone, Hermione said. He's obviously very clumsy. Incarcerous!
Drabin snapped, and coils of rope sprung out of his wand toward Hermione, only to bounce off her hasty Protego shield. Ropes twined around Drabin instead, forcing him to drop his wand. She heard doors slam behind her and the sound of Draco's footsteps pounding up the stairs.
What happened?
He gasped, looking at Croft, who was still sitting dazed on the floor, and Drabin wrapped up in ropes still attached to his own wand. Hermione just shrugged.
You were right, Draco said, lowering his voice. An Auror wearing a bobblehead charm tried to break through, but the mare people took. What the hell is going on in here? Hermione!
Harry bowed through the now open portrait hole, hooking on his Auror robes over t-shirt and boxers.
What are you doing here? Ew!
He grimaced, suddenly seeing Draco. Harry, they're trying to arrest Theo for writing the Die Mudblood messages, Hermione said, and Harry and Draco both winced.
What happened here?
Harry asked, looking at the Aurors.
Hermione, you didn't hex them, did you? That's Auror Drabin.
I didn't hex anybody, they're just very awkward, she said. That's Drabin's own wand binding him. Look, Harry, they have a warrant, she said, giving him the parchment. Harry gave the warrant a quick look.
What is this evidence?
He asked. Hermione glared down at the Aurors. They either don't know or won't tell me. They tried to sneak in here before everyone woke up to take Theo away. I don't think McGonagall knew about it at all.
I certainly did not,
the headmistress said, striding into the room.
Miss Granger. No matter what the provocation, you cannot simply hex Aurors.
I didn't, headmistress. Look, it's...
What in murder is going on in here?
roared Shacklebolt, leaping through the portrait hall.
Hermione, what did you do to them? I could have hexed them, you know,
Draco said resentfully.
I'm somewhat offended that nobody thinks of me.
Well, you have been quite peaceful lately, Hermione said.
Why are my Aurors at the floor?
Kingsley shouted.
I think the proper question is, why are your Aurors here at all?
McGonagall said acidly.
This warrant.
She threw the scroll at Kingsley with a disdainful sniff.
Cannot be executed. I simply cannot allow you to drag another student out of Hogwarts.
A tall black hat bobbed in agitation.
Head Auror Shacklebolt, when I gave your Aurors the right to enter the castle, it was not for these purposes.
Kingsley pocketed the scroll and waved a hand at Harry.
Potter, help Croft,
Kingsley ordered, and Harry moved reluctantly to pull the beefy Auror off the floor. Kingsley waved his wand and Dramione leapt to his feet.
I charge Hermione Granger with attacking an Auror without provocation,
Dramione snapped. I did not attack anyone, Hermione said. I merely attempted to clean a dirty spot on the floor, and Auror Croft slipped on the water. Then Auror Dramione cast an incarcerous spell, and it bounced off my Protego spell.
You decided to clean the floor during a confrontation with the Aurors?
Kingsley said. I like things tidy, Hermione said.
And you cast a Protego spell against Auror Dramione?
I was frightened, she said, trying to look frightened. Everyone in the room looked skeptical.
You got off easy, Draco said to Dramione. Usually she petrifies people for looking like they might possibly be threatening.
Harry nodded in agreement. Only people I like, Hermione said. Draco smiled at her.
I find it hard to believe any of this,
Kingsley said. Headmistress McGonagall can check my wand, Hermione said, and you can check the Aurors ones. Our most recent spell will bear out my story.
Is that true?
Kingsley asked Dramione, who nodded reluctantly.
None of this explains why two unauthorized Aurors are in the Slytherin common room attempting to carry away one of my students in the early morning,
McGonagall said severely.
Headmistress, I apologize for the intrusion, but we do have credible evidence.
And what exactly is this credible evidence, Head Auror Shacklebolt?
Perhaps if we could go to your office.
Excellent idea,
McGonagall said briskly.
My office is a much more suitable place to discuss your request to remove a student, and I think it's best that Mr. Knott joins us so he can properly be briefed on the evidence against him.
Where is Knott, Hermione? Harry asked. I don't know, she said wide-eyed. I only came here for Draco's potion notes. Everyone looked skeptical again.
I'll get Theo,
Draco said, turning and walking quickly down the stairs. How could you, Kingsley? Hermione asked. No matter what the evidence is against Theo, how could you sneak a pair of Aurors in here to kidnap him?
Hermione, you are in danger, Kingsley said. All the Muggerborns here are.
The only danger I'm under is from your incompetent Aurors, Hermione fumed.
Croft here could have fallen on me when he tripped over his feet.
Harry barked a laugh, which he tried to suppress under Kingsley's glare.
I have a responsibility to root out dark influences,
Kingsley began.
Is that what I am? A dark influence?
Theo drawled, emerging from the stairs with Draco. He was dressed impeccably in school robes and looked entirely relaxed.
I consider myself an excellent role model,
Theo continued.
I have study guides and everything.
He winked at Hermione. Kingsley gave a low groan.
I really dislike Slytherins.
To be continued. Next up, Hermione gets the chance to lecture.
I can't sit here with Potter, Draco said. I have class.
He gave Harry a thin smile.
And I have ancient roots.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of the Gloriana set by ThebeMoon. If you'd like to stay up to date on upcoming chapters and stories, you can follow me on YouTube, Spotify, or AO3.